everyone, I'm Laura Ingraham. This is Ingraham Angle from Washington tonight. Weed wackos. That's the focus of tonight's angle.
For me, marijuana legalization is a social justice issue. It's a racial justice issue. It's an economic justice issue. And I think the war on drugs has been an abject failure.
It was supposed to be a model for the rest of the nation. Big venture capital firms raised $25 million to help pass California's Prop 64 back in 2016. And they argued that marijuana legalization would not only keep people out of jail for using small amounts of weed, but it would also reduce crime by squeezing out the illegal drug market. Well, that didn't work out. Far from reducing illegal weed, those efforts instead allowed the black market to flourish after legalization with the help of organized crime operations that run massive unlicensed farms and storefront dispensaries in plain view, bringing crime and terrorizing nearby residents. And those raided by police are often up and running again within weeks or even days. Now, you know what kills the LA Times to publish these stories? But the broken promises of legalization with the violence and the illegal grows, they're just impossible to ignore. And what's happening in all the other states that legalized it? Well, in Maine, where adult use of cannabis is legal and sales are regulated, the Chinese have stepped in to undercut prices by starting their own illegal operations. And it's so bad that now state lawmakers and Maine's 2 senators are asking the feds for help. Now, of course, most of these politicians still aren't against cannabis legalization. They just want to protect the legal market from being, again, undercut by the criminals. But again, that's what they promised legalization would do. And you walk around Manhattan lately, as I have, well, that horrid pot smell, it's everywhere. Little kids have to breathe it in. It's like we're all walking around in a big pit of burning manure mixed with skunk smell. No one I know likes it. But when the Big Apple reeks of dirty diapers, people say, what, people aren't going to take out the trash, or the trash collection isn't happening? No. It's not the garbage in the street. It's the legalization that has destigmatized the use of marijuana, even in front of children.
The number one thing I smell right now is pot. It's like everybody is smoking a joint now, everybody has a joint.
What an idiot. Oh yeah, it's hilarious, Mayor. Just like what actually happens to school-age kids when the THC-infused gummies or snacks or vapes are everywhere post-legalization. Doctors have been warning about this, by the way, for years.
But the biggest problem that has happened in every state that has legalized marijuana are a big spike in emergency room visits because of people overdosing on the edibles, some of which are kids, because these look like gummy bears.
And it's only gotten worse. Nevertheless, there's big money in them there pot fields, and this year, states like New Hampshire, North Carolina, Ohio, and Pennsylvania are all likely to vote to legalize marijuana. And remember, California wants to experiment even more, despite its own experience with this, by legalizing other mind-altering drugs. The state Senate there just approved a bill to decriminalize so-called magic mushrooms and psychedelics. Oh, they're all good for you. Well, keep them numb and dumb, and hope that you collect more in tax revenue than you lose in human lives and revenue from all the cannabis-linked overdose deaths, mental health problems, car crashes, education loss, and of course, the added expense of law enforcement. Now, of course, libertarians think that the problem with cannabis legalization is that, again, it didn't go far enough, so get all the other drugs out there, too. They want all drugs legalized, even fentanyl. But maybe we should ask Oregon about its own experience with allowing hard drug use in public places. Portland went from 413 shooting incidents in 2019 before legalization to 1,309 afterward. Now, no wonder Portland city leaders are trying to reverse course there, turn around the legalization of hard drug use in public. Overdoses are multiplying. So are a long list of social pathologies there. But the fact is, it's not just hard drugs. Talk to addicts. Almost every one of them started on weed, despite the lies we're told about how it's never a gateway drug. Well, it's true, it's not a gateway drug for everyone, or maybe even most people. But it is for most of those sad souls that you see staring into space, muttering to themselves in the streets. And for all the liberals who love to talk about the science on what regular THC use does to the developing brain, well, it's devastating. From Psychology Today, highly concentrated marijuana products are causing cannabis-induced psychosis, paranoia, and confusion. Increased marketing on social media may send a message to teens that cannabis is safe and harmless. And of course it does. Now, parents who've lost children to marijuana have had about enough of the glorification of the drug and the relentless lies told about its claimed benefits.
He very quickly became addicted. 5 years later, he died by suicide, saying that the mob was after him. We don't have a mob. That UNC was an FBI base, that everybody knew everything about him. He became completely
Paranoid.
Delusional.
It's heartbreaking and infuriating and all too common. No matter how much money that state governments get from cannabis sales, taxing them, and it's a lot, it's not worth it. It's time for all 50 states to see the cruel lessons of drug legalization, especially for our kids. And that's The Angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.